Hi, welcome back to Pepple's Potager. So last year I did 2 or 3 videos on growing corn in my 4x8 raised beds, and so this year I wanted to show everybody how I actually started the corn in the greenhouse. And so the corn I'm actually growing this year is Silver Queen corn. It's the same kind I grew last year. And Silver Queen corn takes about 90 days to harvest from the time you plant it. And it grows up to it can grow up to 9 foot tall. So all I really do is I open the pack, and then I'll take the Silver Queen corn out, and I'll actually plant them 1 per seed cell. This is a 72 cell tray, and I'm actually going to fill the whole thing, 1 per cell. Okay, so I've taken the corn seeds out of the pack and I've placed them 1 per cell there, and all I'm going to do is just take my finger like this and just push it down there just like that, and then just cover them up with a little bit of soil. And also, you really don't have to plant them in the seed trays. I only plant them in seed trays because of a big problem with squirrels in my yard. So putting them in seed trays in the greenhouse keeps the squirrels away from my seeds, because once the seeds start to germinate, all the squirrels jump into my raised beds and start eating it up. So growing transplants in the greenhouse makes it easier for me. Alright, so I've covered up all the seeds in the seed tray, and I'm going to give them a nice dose of water, and then I'm going to leave them in the seed tray for about 2 weeks or so, or however long it takes them to get about maybe 10 inches tall. And then once they get up to about 10 inches tall, I'll probably put them in the ground. It's been about 2 weeks since I've planted the Silver Queen corn in the seed trays here, and as you can see, they're doing very well. They're up to about 8 to 10 inches tall, maybe even taller than that, maybe close to a foot. But they're doing very well. You can see some seeds didn't germinate, but that's okay. I expected that. And I'll really only need 32 plants for my raised bed here, so I've got plenty more than what I need. But I'm going to take the best plants that I have out of this tray, and I'm going to plant them in my raised beds here. And this is a 4x8 raised bed, and I'm going to plant them 1 per square foot. So I'll really only need 32 plants altogether. And I'm going to use the seeding square here to mark where I'm going to plant the corn. And as you can see, I've already started here a little bit. But the reason I grow the Silver Queen corn 1 per square foot is because it's such a large corn stalk. It grows up to 9 foot tall, and so it needs a lot of space. And I think the best spacing for the Silver Queen is 1 per square foot. Now, according to the square foot method, you can actually plant 4 corn plants per square foot, but that's only if you're growing a small, short season corn variety like Early Sun Glow. If you were planting those, you could actually plant those 4 per square foot, because they only get to about 4 foot tall. But because Silver Queen can get up to about 9 foot, it's best to only plant them 1 per square foot. And I actually planted them 1 per square foot last year, and they did very well for me. You can actually watch the video in my video library of the Silver Queen corn that I planted last year. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the bed and show you how it looks afterwards. Okay, so I've marked the holes where I'm going to plant the Silver Queen corn. As you can see, I've also planted a few cucumber plants, 1 at each side of the bed, and I'm actually going to grow the cucumber plants through the corn. So once they get tall enough, the corn will act as a trellis for the cucumbers, and they will grow throughout the bed, and that'll be saving me some space because I really don't have enough space to grow cucumbers right now. So I'm just going to grow them with the corn to help me save some space. And so I have one here, and then I have one at that end of the bed as well. And I also have a bag of Job's fertilizer here. So in each hole, I'm actually going to sprinkle a little bit of fertilizer to help give the corn a little bit of jump start. And I'm going to do that for each Silver Queen plant that I put in the raised bed. Okay, so all I do is gently take the corn seedling out of the seed tray, and then I'll place it in the hole I just made and just cover the dirt in around it, just like that. Very simple. Okay, there you have it. I have all 32 plants in the raised bed, 1 per square foot. I also have my 1 cucumber plant there at the end, on this end, and then 1 over here at the other end. And so I'm curious to see how well this is going to work. So I'm actually going to use the Silver Queen corn as a trellis for my cucumbers. And this is a space-saving technique that a lot of people have used, so I want to see how well it works for me as well. So I wanted to give an update on how well the corn in the raised beds are doing. And as you can see here, they've actually gotten pretty tall already. And looks like they're probably about 4 or 5 foot tall maybe now. And Silver Queen corn can actually get up to about 9 feet. And so far they're doing really well. About a week and a half ago, actually had some storms roll through here, and they actually blew a lot of the corn down, but the roots were still intact. So actually stood the corn back up and packed some of the soil around them that was in the raised beds and stood them back up the best I could, and they still survived. So now the roots have gotten a lot deeper than what they were, so they can pretty much stand on their own now, even if we get some strong storms that come through. So it's looking pretty good now. And I'm also growing some cucumbers around the corn here, and as you can see, they're winding their way around the edges here, and looks like we got some small cucumbers forming there, and so I might get a few here soon. But I'm kind of using the Silver Queen corn as a trellis to grow the cucumbers, and also you can also grow the cucumbers around the corn to help keep out squirrels and other animals that might eat your corn, because they say growing cucumbers and squash around your corn actually helps keep animals off, because they don't like the prickliness of the vines that cucumbers have, and that can actually keep them off your corn. Also have another vine, cucumber vine, over here on the other side at this end, and it's doing pretty well. And a few small cucumbers forming on there. This corn stalk here ain't quite as big as the other ones. Probably stunned it a little bit because of when it blew down, but it'll catch up eventually. But as you can see, the corn is doing very well, and give it another month or so and we'll probably be picking some Silver Queen corn off of here. As you can see, I've planted some cucumbers around the corn there, and they actually did very well. I've pulled off a good many cucumbers off these Bragger hybrids, and it looks like I may get some more here. As you can see, I got one nice sized cucumber down there, but there's actually a few vines growing in between the corn there that are doing fairly well. And then looking at the corn here, you can see I got quite a few ears of corn in here that are ready to pick. And the Silver Queen is doing very well for me. And how do you know when the corn is ready to pick? Well, very easily. You can tell just by the silks on the end of the corn, and they dry up very good, and then you just feel the sides of the corn cob there, and you can feel the kernels of corn in there, and you can feel that they're nice and plump. And so I got quite a few of these I need to pick today, and so maybe we'll be eating some corn here for Labor Day. Corn, as you can see, it's pretty much done for the year. You can see right here's where one of the squirrels got hold of some of the corn there, but overall the Silver Queen corn did very well in this bed. I planted 32 plants of Silver Queen corn in here, and I probably got about 32 ears of corn. And so I got at least 1 ear of corn per plant, and some of the corn stalks did not do very well. Some didn't produce any ears of corn at all, but others produced 2 ears of corn per stalk. So that happens sometimes with Silver Queen corn. Sometimes you'll get 2 ears per stalk. Last year my Silver Queen did very well. I got almost 2 ears on every stalk of corn. So it actually did better last year, but I'm really happy with how things turned out this year. I mean, as long as you get at least 1 ear of corn per stalk, you're doing pretty good. So squirrels did get some of them. Some of the corn plants didn't do very well, but overall a pretty good corn harvest. And also I did plant some Bragger hybrid cucumbers around these. They actually didn't very well, but they are done for the season, so I already pulled those out, and they did very well for me. And obviously they didn't do very well at keeping squirrels off my corn stalks, because they did get quite a few ears as well. So, but overall I'd say the corn did very well for me this year.